Hey, what's up everybody? Good morning. It is 7 a.m. I'm downtown Los Angeles and I'm about to check out Clark Street Bread. We're gonna get a behind the scenes look and we're gonna talk about 3 tips for making better quality professional baguettes. Let's go inside and check it out. What's up? Good morning. So we're here at Clark Street Bread. So I just sat down. I'm waiting for the baker Zach. I grabbed the little ham and cheese croissant here and a macchiato. This place is booming. The pastries look fire. Everything, the breads look so amazing. When we're in here, we're gonna talk about 3 tips for making better quality professional baguettes. Baguettes is super hard to make. There's nowhere to hide. It is what it is. Flour, water, salt, and we're gonna ask Zach what it takes to make consistently high quality professional level baguettes. It's always best to get to these places early because the best pastries sell out and they get super busy. So we're here, we're gonna get it. Let's go. Walking in and out.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for meeting me down here. What's up? We got Zach here.
What up?
I'm Zach, and we're here in Echo Park at Clark Street Bakery. Matt, thank you for coming. Nice to meet you. And we've got some baguette dough right here. So we're gonna divide it, pre-shape it, and shape it and bake it. And it's a good thing we made extra because the guys are short on baguettes for the bakery today, so this will help. We're gonna be sold out. We're probably sold out of baguettes already. So.
What is in the dough?
So the dough is flour, water, salt, yeast. It's got a poolish. The poolish is all spelt, and then there's a bit of germ in it also. So just, you know, a white flour-ish from Central Milling. It's a mix of ABC, which is their white, and then T70.
All right, so we are gonna make some baguettes right now. Zach is gonna show us how it's done.
So yeah, you just want to, this is fermented overnight. You know, it was mixed the day before around like noon, and now it's 8 o'clock the next morning, whatever. Usually it'd be earlier. And yeah, you just want to make sure that it's floured around the edges. You don't need to flour the work surface. It should pop right out. You can see all the fermentation, you can smell it. It smells really clean, and like a clean yeasty flavor. If it gets into like a sour yeasty flavor, then it's probably just overproofed or the starter was overproofed.
Is this sourdough and yeast?
No sourdough. I prefer a poolish baguette, although, you know, over time I've done tests and done like 3% sourdough, and that's nice too, but I really don't care.
I kind of feel like with...
For me, it's all about a little bit of spelt, the poolish, and a small amount of yeast.
I kind of feel like the best ones I've ever had are always with yeast, never with sourdough.
Yeah. And now for the pre-shape, you want to have it be as little touching as possible, but still achieving your shape. And these baguettes should rest about 40 minutes tops. It's sort of like the classic, you know, slow rise overnight method.
What temperature, do you take this right out of the fridge and start shaping it, or do you let it get to a certain temperature?
No, you know, I've heard of people letting it warm up a bit, but that's more for like, I would say the not professional setting, because in the professional setting, you know, we've got, let's say 500, 600 baguettes. And so, you know, that time will, things will be moving along, things will be warming up.
How many baguettes would you say you make in a day?
It's usually about, on average, maybe like, you know, 400, but on the weekends, like 500 to 600. All right, so flour your couche lightly. You know, classic rice and wheat blend, whatever. And then for dusting, just regular wheat. Dust the top lightly also. When it comes to shaping, you know, you want to dust the bread just so it doesn't stick. Flip it over. Flatten it a little bit so there's more surface area to work with. Give it one fold. You can keep going down, or you can do it like that. Flip it, give it another one, seal it. Elongate it with even pressure, just to as long as the board. Seam side up. Little pleat. Yeah, so this baguette dough was mixed yesterday. It cold fermented in the fridge overnight, and we divided it into 400 gram pieces. Traditional is 350, but you know, we have to do everything bigger and better here in America, so 400. Yeah, pre-shape it into a log, not too tight, but firm, snug, and let it rest for 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Same thing with the final proof after we shape it. You know, 40 minutes should be enough. You want to be really gentle at this stage, so think about what you want to do. And for me, there's like 3 steps. The first step is the fold over. The second step is the fold over, and then the third step is the seal. And just repetition. Just practice that over and over. If the dough gets tacky or sticky, just a little bit of flour. You know, whether it's on your hands or underneath the dough itself. And you know, don't keep working on the same piece of dough for a long time. It'll just break down. You know, if you're not happy exactly with how it came out, just move on to the next one and practice again.
How is the baguette leavened?
So it's yeast and poolish. So no sourdough, just yeast. But the poolish gives it a nicer flavor, obviously better keeping qualities, and makes the dough a bit more extensible also. And so here's a tip for baguettes. Another tip for baguettes is, or any bread in general, if you're wondering when the right time to bake it is, just do the finger dent test. If you haven't heard of that, all it is taking the dough and with a floured finger, just poking it. And if it springs back slowly and leaves a mark, it's ready to go. For me, that showed me it sprang back a little bit too fast. And so this could benefit from another 15-20 minutes of resting before going in the oven. Yeah, I'd say these are ready.
Oh yeah,
you see it's springing back, but not all the way. All right, so give it a little dust, just because it's going to be resting on the loading fabric for, you know, a minute or two before it loads in, so you don't want it to stick. You know, we've been working on these for 24 hours now, and so you just want to, at each step, make sure that you're doing the right thing to ensure the quality of the bread. And so you've got a baguette transfer peel.
How many baguettes go on the loader at once?
It looks like 18, like about 20. I'm giving them a bit more space now, so maybe a little bit less, but yeah, about 40 in each deck times 4, so 160 baguettes at a time. Thank you.
Except for the 2 that I did.
Yeah, right. That's another thing, is like when you're first learning how to shape, not that you are, but in general, when you're first learning how to shape bread, you know, you'll be super critical, which is good, but oftentimes the oven, the steam, the heat is a bit forgiving, and so not all of your imperfections are going to come through. You may be surprised. If you're hard on yourself at first, it might still be a nice product when you take it out of the oven. All right, so we're ready to score and load. The good temperature for the oven is somewhere between like 450 and 480. Baguettes you want to bake quick and hot so that the crust doesn't get too thick and chewy. You want the crust to be set so it's crunchy, crispy, but thin as possible. And so traditional is 5 scores. In the middle of the baguette, nothing too high, nothing too low. What that does is promote pop up instead of out. You want to have the blade angled.
All right, so our baguettes are in the oven. They look amazing. The bakery is just so busy. I'm just trying to stay out of the way. We're gonna check them out in a few minutes. And we'll get a third tip and a last sort of like recap on what it takes to make professional quality baguettes at this level. All right, what are you thinking?
All right, so let's take a look at the baguettes, see how they're doing. So we'll open the deck, peek inside. They've got color. That's how you know when to vent. You want to keep the steam until the bread shows color. At that point, the bread won't be expanding anymore. It's set, and you can, you know, open up the steam, let it all out, because now we're focused on drying the environment so we can get it as crispy as possible. But the signatures of a good baguette that I look for are, one, the thin, crispy crust, which is quite different than any sourdough bread. Sourdough is always a bit chewier. Also, to have it be nicely fermented so that when you cut it open inside, it's open. All the dough, all the gluten. And then also, that's kind of it. You know, if it's well fermented and well baked, that's kind of all you want. It can be a little bit wonky in the shaping and still be fine, but you know, most important thing is the flavor. That's all that really matters. It's been 24 minutes. You don't want baguette to be as dark as sourdough because the flavor will be bitter instead of being sweet. You just want it to be golden brown. So you can see here, this could probably take a little bit more, but also it feels like the crust is set. And I know just by looking at it, this is gonna be a sweet, really light in flavor bread. And that's what you want from a baguette. And so we'll go ahead and unload. Yeah, those look nice. You can see the little specks of the spelt and the wheat germ in there.
All right, so what do you think of the baguettes?
Yeah, so baguettes turned out great. They seem like they're gonna be really tasty, so I might as well just get in here and take a bite like this, right?
I'm gonna get right in so
right
you
off
get
the tip.
Sound.
That's what you want. Nice and crispy, light, no bitter flavors from over baking. Nice and sweet, pure, clean wheat flavor.
Let's get one
Very
more
good.
crunch.
Smells delicious.
All right, so let's recap 3 tips for making professional quality baguettes.
Hey, what's up everybody? It's Zach from Clark Street, and we're gonna give you 3 tips for making great baguettes. The first is the flour. Choose some quality organic flour and don't overmix it. Just mix it till it comes together. Really, time is on your side. Give it an overnight rest, overnight fermentation. The second is when you're shaping, dividing and shaping, be as gentle with the dough as possible. It's rested for a long time, developed all that gas and from the fermentation inside. So you don't want to degas it too much. Be gentle when you're shaping it and allow it to rest again. And then the last one is in baking. Make sure you're baking your baguettes in about 24 minutes is a good time for it to get a good color and a good thin, crispy crust. If it's not, then adjust your oven. If it's taking longer, use a hotter oven. And when you're scoring, make sure to angle your blade a little bit, 45 degrees they say. You don't need to score too deeply, just about 1/4 inch at max. And then you can hopefully have a nice crispy, traditional French baguette like that.
Oh, that was just so perfect. Crunch.
Yeah, enjoy.
Huge thank you to Zach and Clark Street Bread for letting me in the space. I was totally in everyone's way. The bakers were You know, I was trying not to bump into anyone. This is really great. And we're just gonna recap our 3 tips for making professional quality baguettes. So number 1.
Number 1, open mouth wide. Number 2, insert crusty bread. Number 3, chomp, chomp, chomp. My 3 tips for baguette bread making.